Hello there. 2024 is almost here. Are you kind of wondering what's going on, especially since it's an election year and there's going to be all kinds of interesting things happening? Well, if you're curious about that, then make sure that you go to my website and get my 2024 predictions. It is an uncandid, uncensored look at what is going to be happening in the United States of America for next year. And I promise you, you will not be disappointed because it is going to be a jam-packed year. So make sure you go to my website and see how you can obtain those predictions and come on and come with me for the adventure of your life in 2024. My website is www.michellebond007.com. And while you're there, be sure to sign up for my free newsletter so that you will always be informed as to what is going on with the predictions for your own sign for the month and anything else that I feel that's insightful that you might be interested in. Again, that's www.michellebond007.com. Now let's get started. So this video is all about the October 2023 solar eclipse, which is happening on the 14th of the month. And what I have done here is I have the eclipse chart, which is inside, and outside is the United States chart. And the thing that I find to be very interesting with this solar eclipse is that it does line up with the United States chart, because the ascendant for the eclipse is the same as the United States chart, Sagittarius. And the very interesting thing that is happening is that the eclipse is actually happening in the 10th house of the United States government, as well as the eclipse chart. And it is out of sign because K2 is here in Libra and the sun and the moon are here in Virgo. So that is called out of sign. So what this means is that there's going to be some mixed things going on with this eclipse. And what that means is that some of the karmas, the changes that have been happening for the past 18 months between the Libra and the Pisces eclipse is winding down. It's finishing up. And we're going to have the current eclipse pattern as K2 moves into Virgo, and the eclipse pattern will be from Virgo to Pisces, with Rahu going into Pisces. When that happens, there will be new changes happening between Virgo and Pisces. So we're going to wind up the old eclipse patterns and start some new eclipse patterns. So this solar eclipse is a mixture of both of them. Currently, with the eclipse patterns being in Libra, as I've been talking about, is a house of justice. We have not felt that there has been a lot of justice. But that is going to be changing because K2 is going to go into Virgo, which is the 6th house of the zodiac, but it's also the 10th house of our government. So what that means is that issues from the past with our government are all going to come to a head, and we are going to be focusing in on that. The truth is coming out and we're starting to see, and especially with this eclipse pattern heating up, I know a lot of you have been wondering what is going on with our government. I mean, really, every time you turn around, there's something new that's happening, a new development. And it's not just on one side, it's on both sides of the fence. So it is bipartisan. And it has left many American citizens sitting back and going, what the heck? Seriously, what is going on? Every time we turn around, there's a new development and something that just kind of blows our minds. And the thing of it is, though, is that people are starting to wake up. They are really starting to see the truth and wake up to what's been going on in our government in the past. K2, remember, is the past. And that is what this eclipse is involving K2, even though it is out of sign. So that's past events in our government. And we are going to be very concerned about that. This eclipse actually starts the new trend for what is going to be carrying forward for the next 18 months. And we are going to be very focused in on our government and the politics. We are tired of it. The American people are tired of it. And we want answers and we want things to change. And so we are at the cusp of a new way of thinking and a new way of possibly governing. The old is going out and the new is coming in. So we're going to look at that. So we have here for the solar eclipse, Sagittarius is the ascendant. And it is in the nakshatra of Purvashada. Now, Purvashada is all about the victory, undefeated, telling the truth. And that is what we are going to want. And Jupiter is the ruler of Sagittarius, also the ruler of Pisces. So we have the first house and the fourth house going to the fifth house. The fourth house is our country, our homeland. And the rule of Jupiter going into the fifth house. The fifth house is politics. And we are, since the ruler of the first is in the fifth, very interested in the politics. We are tired of it. We want a government that is for the people, by the people, and one that is representative of justice in the American way. We are tired of politicians who only have their own self-interest in mind. Now, that is not to say that all politicians are like that, because not all politicians are like that. There are some good politicians out there and people who really love our country and want to see it be successful and succeed. And they are very concerned about the American people. But what's happening is with Uranus being there and Rahu, it's bringing out, let's say, the things that are the behind the scenes that we haven't really been noticing or knowing about, that has been covered up. But the truth is coming out, and that's Uranus, the great awakener, and Rahu is expansive, but he also can be kind of shadowy, but he brings things in this reality, where K2 brings things from the past. So we're looking at things from the past that our government has done, and it's coming into the current time now, what this reality, what we need to deal with now in this material world. And Rahu, as you can see, is out of bounds. He is currently getting ready to move from Aries, which is a fire sign, into Pisces, which is a water sign. And whenever a planet is 3 degrees moving out of or into from a water to a fire sign, they're called out of bounds. And so what we have is a feeling of drowning, of being overwhelmed. And that's what we are feeling with the politics that are happening in the United States. People are tired of being divided. People are tired of the government or the politicians trying to divide us. And what's happening now is that people are beginning to come together across all party lines. We are starting to be united. And this is what's going to propel America forward into a new progressive nation. That is happening. So we are waking up. And the depositor of the fifth house of politicians is Mars, and it goes here into the 11th house. The 11th house is the house of the masses. That's a collective consciousness of the United States people. And it's there with K2. We, as the United States citizens, have been feeling invisible. We feel like the politicians and our government are not paying attention to our needs, our wants, and we elected these officials into office to look out for us, and we are finding that they are not doing that. And as a result of that, with Mars being there, that's kind of a very sensitive point, shall we say, because Mars in K2 is very combustive. We are angry. People are angry. They are fed up and they're starting to speak out. And that's what we need in order to get change. So that's happening. And then the ruler of the 11th house is Venus, and it does go to the 9th. So what are we interested in? We're interested in the truth. We are interested in justice. We are interested in the American way. And we are concerned, because it's in Maga, which is our rulers, that our rulers are not bringing that to us. And the ruler of this, if this is Leo, where Venus is, the 9th house, which is also the 5th house of the zodiac, natural zodiac chart, which also represents leaders. And Sun is the ruler of it, which represents leaders. And what's happening? It's going to the 10th house of the government, and it is being eclipsed by the moon. The moon is the ruler of the 8th house. Going here, the 8th house, what is that? That's scandals. That is deception. That's things that are going on behind the scenes. But it's also the house of rejuvenation and transformation. So that is what is very important and is a highlight of this solar eclipse. The government is being transformed. The government can no longer hide. The truth is coming out. And the other interesting thing is too, is that Mercury is ruler of Virgo. He's also ruler of the 7th house of this eclipse, going here. And we want the truth. It's communications. Mercury is communications. We, the people, want the truth of what is really happening with all the policies that are going on with our government, the open borders, and that planetary configuration that was happening in September, from September 14th through September 24th, was very impactful, because what happened was all of a sudden we got to see the impact of the current policies of this administration, the real impact of what's going on with the open borders, with the fentanyl, with the child trafficking, with the human trafficking, how many, the cartels, all the cartels that are happening, as well as we're very concerned about the economics of this country. And so the interesting thing is here in this eclipse chart is that Saturn is retrograde here in Shadow Bishop, which deals with addiction issues and transformation, the 100 healers. It also deals with seers of the sky watchers, so the astrology. So we were looking at UFOs. The truth came out about the UFOs, and Saturn is all about the truth, but it's also the 3rd house of this chart, which is communications. Again, the media. And so it is aspecting the 9th house of truth and justice. The media has been covering up a lot of this stuff, and we are wise to it. We know that's what's happening. Most people are not getting their news anymore from mainstream media. They're looking at other sources that they feel is more truthful and that they can depend on. But this is the other thing though, that even though the media is not always reporting what's going on, it's covering it up, it is not going to be able to do that anymore, because the word's getting out there. People are not buying it anymore. So they're going to have to start reforming the way they report things. And we're starting to see that happen a little bit. So that's a good thing. Yes, so the very interesting thing is that this is the United States chart, and the moon is in the 3rd house of the United States chart, with Jupiter transiting over it. And this is the Sati, and they're both in Shadow Bishop. And Saturn has been going back and forth over this moon as he goes direct, and then he goes retrograde, and he'll go direct again in Shadow Bishop. So we're going to see more transformations, I do believe, with the communications with our media, and they're going to have to tell the truth. And it's karma. The karmic dues are having to be paid now, basically, is what that is. So all that is there. And the other very interesting thing with this eclipse is that we've been talking about yods, but this yod right here becomes, because the eclipse is at the precipice of the yod, the point, which is where the finger of God happens. It's right there. This is all being activated. That yod is really being activated on this eclipse pattern. Saturn, the government, mundane astrology, represents the government in the 3rd house of the eclipse, but also the United States chart. the media, our communications, talking about that. This is the other point with the Rahu, Jupiter, Uranus, the great awakener, Jupiter, the ruler of the chart, and also and our homeland represents our homeland, but Jupiter also represents higher knowledge, truth, justice, all that. Then with Rahu, blowing this all up, making it even more impactful, shall we say. But Rahu being out of bounds, so that means that we are feeling overwhelmed with the politics. That's just the bottom line. And then pointing down to here, the 10th house of the government, we want transformation. That is what we want. So things are rather hectic and right now, but this is a great awakening. This is something that we need to go through so that we can move forward and we can evolve. And the other thing is too, the Jupiter ruler of the chart being in Barony. Barony represents death and then rebirth. The United States is going through a death, in a way, a death to the old way of leadership, the old way of doing business, in order that a new birth can come forth. And so this kind of lines up also with the fact that we're in a fourth turning, which I'm going to be doing. I'm not going to go into a lot of that right now because I'm going to be doing a video on the turnings and the fourth turning and what that means for the United States of America. But what I decided to do, because these are unprecedented times. I've never gone through anything like this in my lifetime, and I think I can speak for a lot of people who feel the same way. And it is, at times, you can get lost in all of this. And you need to take a break and sit back and find out what's really important for you. So what I am doing is I have formed a meditation group, and it's called Discover Inner Peace. And I did that to help people relax and settle down and to raise their consciousness so that they can step away from all this and see things in the big picture. And by doing this, not only does it raise their consciousness, but it also raises the consciousness of society as a whole. So we meet once a week, every Monday at 4 o'clock, and I do it on Zoom. And I would love for you to come and join us. You can go to my website for more information. But what it is it's an hour-long group meeting, and we talk about inspirational things in the very beginning, and then I lead you through a guided meditation. Now, you don't have to worry that you can't meditate because I'll be guiding you through it. So you can meditate. People can meditate. But meditation is great, not only for helping you with your consciousness and reconnect with your soul, but it also is great for your health because it promotes relaxation. It can lower your blood pressure, which will help with prevent heart disease. And it's even been known, there are studies actually that have shown that it can even prevent cancer. So you have the medical benefits of meditation, but you also then have the psychological and the spiritual benefits of meditation. So that's great. And what I do is I record the group meditation and send you the link so that at any time during the week, you can refer back to it when you feel stressed out. So be sure to go to my website, www.michellebond007.com, to find out more information on that group meditation. And I tell you, it'll be worth your while because you will come out of that feeling uplifted, inspired, empowered, insightful, and more at peace. And while you're there at my website, you will also want to book an appointment because, you know, everybody has been dealt cards at the time of their birth. And what I do is I help you see the cards that you have been dealt. And why do you want to see the cards that you've been dealt? Because the more strategically you play those cards, the more successful you will be. So be sure to visit my website, www.michellebond007.com, to check out the meditation, to check out the predictions for 2024, to book an appointment, and to get the free newsletter. So there you have it. Be sure to subscribe to my channel and click all notifications so you don't miss a video. Be courageous, be empowered, and I will see you next time.